So Predator 5 or Skulls, the movie directed by Dan Trachtenberg, where's it going to be released? Well, look, you read from the title, so there's no point beating around the bush. Let's talk about it, let's discuss it, and then get our thoughts on it later. It is Hulu. I actually think this is real bad. I'm not a fan of this news at all. Where this came from was actually all via the lawsuit that's been happening. So we picked up some interesting tidbits of information from the lawsuit, and I'm going to go through it because there is another update on the lawsuit. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, the original writers, Jim and John Thomas, are suing Disney, or 20th Century Fox Studios, whatever they're calling themselves now, for the rights back. They're well within them in terms of how copyright law works, and they want the rights back, and that's where we're getting this information from. So in terms of where I got this information from, it's actually from my friends over at avpgalaxy.net. I'll leave the link to this article down below in the description box. Please do check them out. And they say this: so while there was no impactful progress made today, which I will get to in another video because that is interesting, the legal battle was delayed and things like that, and then there's like another delay even further now. Again, very, very interesting things have been coming out surrounding this lawsuit. There was tiny little bit of information divulged in court, right? And that's to do with the distribution of the upcoming 20th Century Studios film currently in production titled Skulls, which is Predator 5. What is it, I hear you ask, ladies and gents? Oh, what information could that be? Well, again, it's the distribution. So fans have been wondering since learning of the Patrick Asen penned film if the 5th installment of the Predator franchise would be released traditionally in theatres. You'd think so, wouldn't you? You would think so, ladies and gents. It was formerly a blockbuster. You know, people loved. And it's a cult classic. A franchise is cult classic. Yes, they've sort of dwindled into obscurity here and there, but I never thought it was ever in question. I was expecting it to be released in theatres, basically. But it's going to be on a streaming platform. Hate it. So according to the Thomas Brothers lawyer, Mark Toberoff, he revealed today that the Dan Trachtenberg director movie, and this is the actual quote, is going to be distributed by Hulu. Not good news. I'm not a fan of that news anyway, at the very least. At all. Now, right, let's break it down. Let's discuss it. Hulu is not an inherently bad platform. They don't inherently distribute absolute garbage, right? You know, are there some good films among them? Yeah, like, of course. But what does this say for the franchise itself? Well, I guess it says what everyone else has kind of been thinking predominantly. You know, it being released on Hulu here is basically saying you're dead. You know, this franchise is dead. It's not the former glory that it once had. It's nowhere near that level anymore. And I think it cheapens it. I personally believe it cheapens the film. It cheapens what you expect of the film as well. And maybe that's a good thing. Like, playing devil's advocate, maybe it's a good thing that people expect less from this film. Because maybe their expectations will be blown out the water. And they'll end up being really, really happy with it. Obviously, that remains to be seen. And that's not a given, ladies and gents. But I'm trying to see both sides of the story here. I absolutely hate the fact that this is going to be distributed on Hulu. Like, I really, really do. I think this is a bad move, and I think it's also, you know, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy by Disney and Fox. Now they have watered down the property to no end. And if you didn't know, ladies and gents, Disney bought Fox, so they own Disney, and so they own Predator. Sorry, Disney owns Predator. So this is 20th Century Fox's problem. They have watered down the franchise so much so that now people just don't care about it. You know, people like the first movie especially, and then they like other bits and pieces about other properties here and there, but by and large, they're done with it. And I think this is, you know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It was their own fault, but it's still a shame, isn't it? You know, I'm sure we can all agree it is a shame. And the other major shame, we don't have Hulu here. We don't have Hulu. Like, worldwide, Hulu's not really around at all. Now, how Skulls will be distributed internationally was not divulged, but it appears, at least in the US, that with the new Alien TV series currently in development for the same streaming platform, FX, Hulu, Mark Toberoff stands correct, and it's not distributed theatrically through 20th Century Studios as well. Hulu will actually become the destination for Predator and Alien content. I don't like this news at all. I really don't like this news. There is nothing positive about it. I don't think so, anyway. Let's have a look at the prospect of, you know, the movie doing well enough to get sequels. Well, Hulu, unless they distribute it internationally via theatres and things like that, I don't think Hulu would give them enough profit from a movie to go, yeah, we'll greenlight a sequel to this. And if Disney was smart about Predator, right, if they were smart, and it's funny because this film in particular could actually do what I'm about to say. If they were smart, they would approach it like Blumhouse does films, or A24. Small budgets, right? Small budgets, big profit. The most expensive part of these films would be the cast crew, the culinary, you know, feeding of people, and the Predator costumes. That's basically it. That is the most expensive stuff on these films. They don't need wild visual effects. They need practical effects. This one in particular has a Native American setting, like old America, pre-everything, pre-settlers and things like this. So it's not going to be an expensive film. There's not giant set pieces. You know, you're literally there on location. So it's interesting that something I've been saying for ages, you know, get back to basics with these films. Get back to creating something which is, you know, done for not that much money and you can reap huge profits based on the back end of it. They could do, but they're probably choosing not to. And I think that sucks. Like, I think that's a massive shame. And like I said, it just cheapens the product, you know. And there is pros and cons behind that. To fans of the franchise, you're probably going to be looking at this going, well, that's garbage. This film's probably going to be garbage now. Because what film released on Hulu that has absolutely blown you away? To the quality of the original Predator. Probably not many. So I don't think this is a good news for the overall franchise overall. I don't think this is good news actually for Skulls. I think this is bad news for the movie Skulls. Predator 5. And just in the long run, I think this is bad. You know, this is the sign of things to come for both Predator and Alien, like AVP Galaxy noted. So there you go. There's my thoughts. There's the news. Apparently, it's going to be released on Hulu. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. I will be doing another video today on the legal proceedings that have occurred for the lawsuit, because that is important. It's important to cover. I'm sure lots of Predator fans will be wanting to hear about that. So stay tuned. If you are new here, do hit subscribe, again, to stay tuned for that. Turn your notifications on, all that good stuff. And if you do want to support the channel, I've got memberships open, which you can find linked in the description box. For 99 pence per month, you can support the channel. Anyway, thanks so much. Take care.